Hi everyone, today on Reviews with Ryan at River Ridge, I want to talk bike transportation. I want to continue a series that we started last winter. I talked about tailgate pads and how I like to do it. However, most people don't necessarily want to invest in a truck. I was at a bike event last week and I noticed fully 50% of the people there, the riders there, use a hitch rack. And so, hitch racks offer a lot of advantages over the tailgate pad and the truck, mostly that you don't need to buy and drive around a truck all the time. Hitch racks are available for pretty much every vehicle. I used a 1 1/4 inch hitch rack on my wife's little hatchback for many years. It worked really, really well. And so for pros, any car. The other thing I really like about the hitch racks is because they attach to a hitch, there is absolutely no contact between the vehicle and the rack. And so there's no potential for damage at all on the vehicle. Back when I was shopping, I chose a Thule T2 Pro. There's a lot of things I like about the T2 Pro, and this is my buddy Kurt's, Jorge's brand new Pro XTR. And so what I like about it, any kind of bike can fit on here. If you come and have a look at the trays, anything from a small road or cyclocross bike up to a mountain bike, up to a plus bike, up to a fat bike can fit on here, which is absolutely fantastic. Getting them in and on the vehicle is actually pretty easy, and they lock quite securely on the vehicle. And once it's on there really, really truly is that I can drop it down. So if I pull this, I can drop it down like that, which then gives me easier access into the vehicle. I can pop the hatch when it drops down like that. Although you have to watch, if you have a mountain bike, that bar is going to be real close. So you do have to be careful. It might bang, it might not, depending on the bike you have. So let's talk about cons. In general, hitch racks are heavy and you have to store them. And so that's one thing you got to think about. They have to actually be on the car. And so if you're out and about and all of a sudden you need to pick up a bike, you got to go home and get the rack. The one thing I really noticed was fuel economy. That surprised me quite a lot. When I used it on a small hatchback, I lost 40% mileage. I went from 6.5 to 9 liters per 100. Now, the less aerodynamic the car is, the less you lose. So on my little SUV, I lost about 15%. And on Kurt's SUV, we lost exactly 0%. We went from 12 liters per 100 to 12 liters per 100. The other thing you got to watch for is if you get a flat tire. This may not potentially work as well as you'd like it to. As we can see, we're running, I don't know, 5 PSI in this tire right now, and it's holding, but I don't love that it's holding right on the rim. So if you have a mechanical, it could potentially be a problem with this style of rack. One thing you gotta watch for is contact between the bikes. Because we have a dropper style and a mountain bike style, we're not having any contact, but when you have multiple flat bar, multiple mountain bikes in a row, there is potential for contact between the bike, saddle, anything in here. So that is something that's not great. One thing that you do need to take into account, technically, this is illegal. We are blocking the license plate here. There's a local rider who we all know and love that got a ticket for this. Now, it was eventually turned over, but you're not supposed to drive around like this. So I've seen lots of riders that will detach their plate and somehow attach it here so it is still visible. Now, this isn't necessarily just a con with this style of rack. It is also a concern here. Technically, this is also illegal. I'm blocking the plate with my tire. So something to think about. The only other thing I would want to talk about is the fact that because the bikes are on the back of the vehicle, you do have potential for damage. If you're on gravel roads, it's spitting rocks right at the car or at the bike. They are up pretty high, but there is still potential for that. Even just moisture. If you're fat biking on a wet and slushy day, you're getting slush and salt and crap all over your bike. So I don't love that aspect of it. The tailgate pad is better in that regard. The other thing is they're visible. Just like on a tailgate pad, people can see your bikes. Now, this particular rack has a built-in lock, and so you can lock the bikes, but I wouldn't want to leave it on with just that for very long, but at least it's something. So, yeah, hitch racks. There's a reason most people choose them. This exact one, the Thule T2, of the people that I saw at that bike event last weekend, 90% of them had this exact rack. It's awesome. Really well built, really, really strong, fits any bike. So I would highly recommend it. I think all of our sponsors carry it. So not only my employer and Toyota can you get Thule racks, Bike Doctor, Out of Bounds, Bruce's, I believe Atlas and Doug's as well. So yeah, check it out. This one is $999. It's got those wheels that you saw me use, which is pretty sweet. There's a slightly less expensive one for $800 that is almost as good that you could consider. One of the things I like about these is you can add an additional 2 bikes. We're going to try that right now. That's an extra $600. All right, so in conclusion, hitch racks are fantastic because they work on any vehicle. You can carry multiple bikes. The bikes are quite secure, but They're expensive, you gotta store them somewhere, you gotta have them with you, and you do lose some gas mileage. So thanks for checking out Reviews with Ryan at River Ridge. Hitch Racks.